Hey everybody, it's Maureen, and hint hint, we are making a bucket hat today. So let me just jump in and say this is a free pattern by Mood Fabrics, and I'm going to link that free pattern in the description box below so that you can go ahead and grab it. But today I'm going to show you a step-by-step tutorial so that you can make a bucket hat too. So grab your sewing tools and let's get started. So first things first, let's talk about sizing. So when you print off the pattern, which by the way is like 5 pages, there's going to be a size chart here. Now I measured my head, right? And my head was like around a 22 inch, but I know my hair, and I said to myself, you wear your hair curly a lot more than you wear your hair straight. So let's make the biggest hat that you can find. So I actually used size H, which is their biggest size, and I cut it out, and as you can see, it's a perfect fit. So I did use some twill fabric. This was probably like half a yard of some scrap fabric that I had left over from some shorts that I made just a few weeks ago, and this honestly took me 30 minutes filming and all. So if you have an afternoon, let's get into it. So this pattern really only takes 3 pieces. So you need 1 of the crown, 2 of the side panel base, 4 of the brim, and 2 of these will be interfaced. Then you're going to take both rims or brims, and you are going to stitch at a 1/2 inch seam allowance here and on the interfaced ones as well. Okay, so should have pressed the seams for both the interfaced and the non-interfaced. So go ahead and take your interfaced and your non-interfaced pieces and lay them on top of each other, right sides together, with the seams matching up on the sides there. And we are going to pin along this edge. All right, take this to your sewing machine and do a 1/2 inch stitch all the way around. So back at the cutting table, go ahead and snip into your seam allowance. Make sure that you do not snip past your stitch line, and you're going to do this all the way around the brim. Okay, once you have given it a good trim or a good snip all the way around, go ahead and turn this right side out. good press. And after you give it a good press, you're going to top stitch the seams right here and top stitch the brim as well at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So you probably have to adjust your stitch length and widen it a little bit if you're using twill on both sides, and go ahead and top stitch this. And then using my seam gauge, I'm going to make sure that I can evenly top stitch this at 1/2 inch all the way around. Now take your side panels and stitch them down at a 1/2 inch seam allowance on both sides. Alright, so go ahead and press the seams open, and as you can see, I finished my edges with my serger. You can also do that as well, or give yourself a bias tape finish. Now we're going to take our hat and place the circle top right sides together, matching up your notches here. A quick pro tip, because this is a circle trying to fit between 2 rectangles, you may have to snip just a little bit into your hat crown, and that's okay if you do. Make sure you do not snip past a 1/2 inch seam allowance in order to avoid putting a tiny hole in the top of your hat. Okay, so now we're going to take this to our sewing machine, and we are going to stitch this at 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. And then I do want you to finish the seam as well. Once you have given this a good press and finished the edges, go ahead and do a top stitch on the brim side, on the side panel side of this. Okay, so now that this is all finished, go ahead and grab your brim and your hat, and we are going to attach this at the side seams. Make sure that these seams line up properly and that your notches on your hat line up as well. Okay, so now that we've pinned it, we're going to do a 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around, and then you are going to finish this edge as well. Okay, so now that the entire hat is attached, this is nearly done. And at this point, I recommend that you do a fit check. And just like we did a top stitch here, you're going to keep doing 1/2 inch top stitches to make it even all the way across. And once you're done with that, you will be finished with your hat. So the seam gauge is going to be very important in this matter, because I had it at the 1/2 inch mark on my machine when I did the first top stitch, and then you want to move it to the 1 inch mark as you go on. All right. So now I'm going to move this to a 1/2 inch, or 1.5 inches, excuse me, and I'm going to move on to my third row. And then I'm going to move it to 2 inches, and then I'm going to move on to the next row after that. And just like that, we have a new hat. It's pretty cool. I will see you all next time. Bye.